Yes, you're watching the South Australian Sports Show. Time to get to the big part of the show, Poppy. The AFL tips, of course. Bevan Jones joins us as always. Bevo, how are you?
G'day, Smithy. G'day, Poppy.
I'm going okay. I'm not sure how we went last week. I know that you picked Brisbane, I picked Carlton.
Yep.
But you picked Port Adelaide, which wasn't a great one. You also picked GWS from memory.
And I was almost going to text you at quarter time.
Yeah, which
I'm glad I didn't do that.
You got 6, Bevo got 4. Can we move on with it because it's totally irrelevant? Friday night, a monster game. Hawthorn in 12th spot, Sydney in 6th. They're at the MCG. Now, this is the interesting one, of course. They met round 10 this year with the Hawks getting a win by 6 points. But since then, Sydney have dropped. That is the only game they've dropped in their last 11 games.
Unbelievable. 7 in a row for the Swans. They are just flying. Although the Hawks are starting to play some good footy as well at the right time of year. Very impressive against Freo last weekend. So, again, it could go either way. But, yeah, hard to back against the Swans at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I'm Swans for sure. Swans for me too. I think they've been super impressive. And as much as we're going to talk about Adelaide later, I think this is the team.
All right, Saturday, North Melbourne City in 17th spot. They're up against Melbourne in 7th at Blunderstone Arena. North Melbourne have lost their last 7 games.
Wow.
Melbourne, of course, have won 3 of their past 5.
Yeah, this is an interesting game, Smithy. The D's are playing some really good football, of course. Got over Port last week by 23 points. However, North Melbourne played pretty well at Blunderstone Arena. They did beat the Crows earlier on in the year and thumped the Crows by over 10 goals. So, yeah, it's not going to be as close as, what one-sided as people think this game's going to be. So I'll tip the D's, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Roos take it right up to them.
Yeah, this game's going to require a bit of courage to tip, and I've got that ounce of courage.
What are we going for?
I'm going to tip North Melbourne. I think he'll feed off that unbelievable win they had against the Crows at that venue, 3 months ago. I'm going to go for an upset, big upset.
This is an interesting one. GWS sit in 3rd spot, Freo in 14th, and they're playing at Spotless Stadium. You won't believe this. GWS sitting in 3rd have won 1 of their past 6 games. Freo sit in 14th, having won 1 of their past 8. That's how tight the ladder is at the moment. GWS not tracking all that well.
No.
Yeah, you're right, Smithy, because, of course, GWS had those 2 draws and then the 2 losses just recently against Sydney and, of course, Tigers last week. So they'll be looking to bounce back and I think they'll beat Freo. I wouldn't say comfortably, but maybe 2 or 3 goals.
If they can't win this one, if they can't beat Freo, forget top 4 for them.
Yeah.
Forget top 4. I mean,
they're done. All right.
I think so. This is where they get their form back.
All right, tomorrow night, of course, big one here at Adelaide Oval. Port sitting in 5th spot. St Kilda in 11th. Both teams have won 3 of their past 5. They're up, they're down, they're all over the place. So Nick Riewoldt had his worst game of the season last week, 10 possessions. The champions always bounce back, so I expect him to have a belter. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's a battle of the yo-yos, isn't it? Because one team plays really well, the other team has a shocker.
I still love yo-yos.
Yeah. And
I mean, I know that's another story.
For another time.
A couple of weeks ago, of course, St Kilda was superb, smashing Richmond. Then last week they were disappointing against the Swans. Port, so good against the Roos, disappointing against Melbourne last week, losing by 23 points. So I'm hoping Port win, being a Port supporter, of course, and I think I'll stick with Port by 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, Port for me. I think Port. I think we'll see the Royal Port this week.
It's going to be a massacre. Gold Coast in 15th, Richmond in 4th at Metricon.
Richmond for me.
Yeah, the Tigers played some really good footy in those last 3 quarters last week, Poppy.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be too good for the Suns. Once again, though, the Suns do play Metricon pretty well, so it could be a lot closer again.
All right,
Your man's in trouble up there.
Rodney Eade?
Yeah, he's in trouble.
I think he is in trouble.
Yeah.
Although I think, in fairness to him, I think people keep comparing the Gold Coast to GWS in their lists. Great list management at GWS, not very good at Gold Coast, so he's going to wear a bit of that. Carlton in 16th spot, Geelong in 2nd at Etihad.
Yeah, Carlton very disappointing against Brisbane last week, Smithy. Geelong will be looking to bounce back, so Geelong too good for the
Geelong easily,
Blues.
All right, the Western Bulldogs on Sunday, they're in 10th, Essendon in 8th at Etihad. Probably the match of the round, this one.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, definitely. The Roos took it right up to the Bombers last week and Bombers ran away, kicked last few to win by 27 points. But, yeah, not convincing last week, Essendon. The Dogs, of course, had a good win on the road against the Suns. So, yeah, again, it's a real tough one to pick this one. I'll go with the Bombers just.
Yeah, I hate backing against the Bulldogs, so I'm going to back them.
You're going to stay with them?
Yeah,
all right.
I am. I love the Bulldogs. I love the way their game's starting to come together. Although, look, one of these sides, whoever loses this week, they're under pressure.
They're out. All right, the MCG Sunday, Collingwood 13th, Adelaide in 1st spot. Collingwood have won their last 2 games. Of course, the Crows have won their last 4, sit on top of the ladder. What are you thinking?
Well, Eddie Betts and Crouch are a couple of blows for the Crows. But, you think they could match them with other sort of players coming into the side or doing a bit of switching around, playing Cameron maybe in Eddie Betts' sort of position. So I think the Crows will have enough aces up their sleeve to be able to win this game.
Enough aces up their sleeves.
Yes.
Okay, yep.
you knew where I was going with that one, Smarty, but yeah.
No, yep, I'm with you. Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Look, I think they'll have enough cards up their sleeves, sleeves up
With
their
their
aces.
aces, yep.
In the back,
Just one mistake. You just need one mistake. That's all you need in an opening.
I go for the Crows.
You go for the Crows? All right, West Coast are in ninth spot and they are not playing good footy. Brisbane in 18th at Domain. Both teams have been inconsistent, but both have won 2 of their last 5. I think we've got to, before we get to that, Chris Fagan's done a really good job with Brisbane.
Yeah.
You know, they've been really competitive this year on the back of where they were
For
last year.
portions of the game,
Still
haven't
a
they?
long way to go,
Yep, sure.
but compared to where they were last year.
Yep.
But West Coast are a different team at home than on the road.
Yeah, West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast for me. You're right about Brisbane. They're sort of building that same kind of thing as GWS did. You know, starting, obviously getting smashed, but some really good young players starting to sign, and some good future ahead there for the Lions, and having a really good coach in Chris Fagan is definitely helping them. So,
All right, just quickly, mate, can Buckley stay at Collingwood or not?
I think he actually can.
Yep.
I feel as though the way they won last week against West Coast and how they embraced him after that game, I feel as though that they can give him a couple more years.
And you know this more than anyone. This man knows more than anyone. A week's a long time in bloody football. I tell you right now, if they lost that game, right?
Yes.
We would be saying the same things almost about him as we were Rodney Eade. It's amazing that one gutsy win, give credit where it's due, one gutsy win all of a sudden changes perception. So what, a fortnight ago he couldn't coach and he lost the players and the supporters didn't want him and there was rumours about him moving.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's a good coach.
It's amazing.
Now
isn't it?
why is that? How does that happen?
Based on a win, it's a motive. So
I
here's your dilemma though. If Adelaide put the blowtorch on them and get them by 60 or 70 points, I guarantee you that win of last week's forgotten.
Forgotten again.
Now, just quickly, mate, there's a big thing for Radio Adelaide. We've got the T-shirt on here coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Radio Adelaide Radiothon starts this coming Monday. It goes for 2 weeks, so July 31st through to August the 13th, where the station will be raising money from its listeners, from philanthropists, from businesses and organisations who'd either want to sponsor us or donate to us or give their time. It's a really important stage for the radio station, so I'd encourage anyone who supports your show, Phil, with KG, our midday sports program, or any other program, and there are loads of good ones on the station, to dig deep over this radiothon period. It's really important for the viability of the station.
Yeah,
All right,
I could definitely agree with you, Poppy. Radio Adelaide's doing some fantastic stuff and gives you some great opportunities that you know, people can just take their careers all over the place.
No doubt. 101.5, get on it. They keep their aces up their sleeve. Hope you've enjoyed the week of sport. Hopefully next week will be just as exciting. We can bring you more into your living room. Hope to catch you next week, everyone. Bye for now.